Hi, I'm James Brookes, and welcome to From the Factory Floor, a conversational podcast about all things startup and tech, brought to you by the folks at tsf.tech.
And welcome back to another episode of From the Factory Floor. I'd say it's just me today, but that's not true. Ian's not here, but I'm very kindly joined by one of our founders. Hi, Paul.
Hi, James. You well?
Not so bad. It's actually a nice day in Manchester, so I can't complain. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well.
So today we brought Paul on to really talk about his journey with his startup Movvle. So, I mean, I can't remember, Paul, how long it was since we actually started Movvle now, because you were one of the first startups we worked with.
Yeah, I think the original thing was probably 2017, maybe as far back as that, with the original kind of idea. It was quite a long time after that, I think, until we actually started doing some development work. But yeah, I think 2017 was probably the original conversation.
Yeah, I think because you genuinely were one of the first startups that we invited into the pod back in Federation House with the coffee shop downstairs. So, I mean, I think just to give people a starter for 10, really, do you want to sort of talk a little bit about yourself and what is Movvle?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've actually known Ian a lot longer than that, which is probably perhaps unusual compared to the other startups that you've worked with. I wouldn't want to date it really, but it may be as far back as 10 years ago.
Verging on carbon dating at that point.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we were just discovering email then, I think.
Broadband was a new thing.
Yeah, broadband was very narrow, I think, back then. But yeah, my background is working with law firms, predominantly doing marketing and business development. I've done that pretty much all my career, so best part of the last 20 years. A big part of that has been to do with property, conveyancing work, and on a national basis, winning work for law firms. And the idea for Movvle was really, I guess, partly spun out of that, and just being aware that conveyancers actually only touch a tiny bit of what is involved in the moving process. Obviously, their role is the legal aspect, getting you from A to Z, making sure you have a correct ownership of the property and there are no defects, etc., etc. And also aware through my own moves that it's, number one, it's stressful. There's lots of stuff that nobody really helps you with, not just conveyancers, but also the estate agents and brokers. And there's a lot of the softer side of stuff as well. So, you know, what point do you start packing up? What point do you look to get rid of some of your goods? Where do you go for that? How do you find those sort of people that can help you? So there was a whole raft of kind of things there. And my own personal experience of moving was that when you do move, you change a lot of stuff. Even the average person only moves a few miles, but even then, you know, you can change everything from your gym to your takeaway to your childcare provider. So there's a real range of things that happen in a move that aren't anything to do with the legal process. And the idea really with Movvle was we wanted to kind of bring some of those things together, create a kind of checklist for everybody in terms of what they should be doing and when they should be doing it, bring together some services, and perhaps most importantly, we wanted to connect them to retailers and brands that offer goods and services that they would want to use.
No, because it was, I think Movvle for me was a real experience, because at the point in life I was I was just about to buy my first house, and I was like, I'm sure
that's right, yeah.
And I seem to remember talking to you about it, and it was just a moment where one of the tasks that we put in the list was get your locks changed, and I went, I'd not even thought about that. Yeah. And there was also the stuff about your house insurance and covering off chimney sweep. You know, have to have it swept every so often, or your insurance is invalid.
Yeah, little known fact: if you've got a chimney and you don't get it swept once a year, quite often your insurance will be invalid. Yeah, nobody tells you that until it's too late.
Well, this is kind of the point: is there's so much in a house move, like I say, not just down to the process and the timings, but there's even just some things that, especially for first-time buyers, and I can imagine for other people as well when they're moving into second and third homes. There's a lot of stuff that you have to manage, and just having something there which you can, you know, just say, all right, this is what I need to do. And I know we added the ability to add like bespoke tasks, so you can add your own little pieces in. It was really actually quite useful, and I actually used some of the stuff I learned in my second house move a couple of years later. But I think the whole house moving process is something that was almost crying out for something like this, just to help people, and especially when all the stamp duty kind of changed, being able to have something like, actually you need to start looking at your removals and realising how early, because they were just getting booked up. And like I say, the fact of how expensive the process is, being able to have offers, I think, what was the statistics around home buyers buying new beds and even buying bottles of wine?
Yeah, something like a third of all bed sales are to home movers.
I mean,
which doesn't surprise you really, I guess, but that goes across. It goes across so many areas. There's lots of stats been thrown about the amount of money that's spent by home movers on anything from kitchens to bathrooms, through to beds, later down the line, even holidays, because of course you've had that stressful move. A few months later, you decide you need a holiday.
I just bought my new house. I want to get out of it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. I think this trend for targeting home movers, it's an interesting one. It's been, I think it's also been a space really that only the bigger brands have really thought of, and that's the other thing. I think I'd like, whilst we'd love to work with some of those brands, I also think it's a space that smaller businesses on a more local and regional level should also be looking at. It's an obvious way to target people who are actually going to be looking for your service, and I'm really keen for Movvle to be something that adds value. I don't want it to just be an advertising channel. I want it to be something where people go on because they're connecting with people that can add some sort of value to their home move. They can perhaps save them some money, or they can give them an additional service, and they can do that because as a channel to reach people, Movvle is much more direct than a general advertising campaign. You're targeting people who are they're moving, they're doing the thing that is most likely to cause them the need to buy your service. So we've got a long way to go till we get to that some of those steps, but we're definitely moving in the right direction now.
No, and I mean, it's sort of your journey as well is quite a different one. Some of the startups we've had here, in that we did a phase one in terms of building the web platform, and obviously we then did a second phase where we actually made it into an app. And obviously it's now on the app stores, it's downloadable. Little plug there, just to say, it is on. Obviously it's on the Apple, it's on Android. Obviously, there was a bit of a change there. So how did you find the journey from moving from obviously what was a desktop-based to sort of pivoting towards going, actually being an app is the best way to go for Movvle?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, actually, because I think when we first started, I think the reality was I had a bit of an idea about something, and I don't think any of us were entirely sure how to articulate that into a project, and it was difficult because it was a concept when I first sort of spoke to you, and it was that was what it was. It wasn't even this is what I want to do. It was just here's a bit of an idea, and what do we think? So there's been a lot of learning along the way. I think also, obviously tech is continuously evolving. I've moved myself twice during that process, I think, since Movvle started, and I think it is even down to my own personal experience. It was obvious to me that we needed something, as so many things are now, that was mobile first. And obviously a native app is seemed to be the obvious way forward, and I think we're already seeing that now. We've got users on, even though it's still early days, we've got users on there. And what's been really encouraging is I can go on now and see the tasks that they're adding in. And that's been a really nice, after all these years of thinking about stuff and building stuff, you can see actually people putting on, what did I look at the other day? People adding their own bespoke tasks, check alarm, check where the water is, sort out something, really, and really just great to see people engaging with it and getting something back out of it, which was the whole point. And I'm looking forward to going back to this first round of users at some point before the end of the year, and just asking for their honest feedback, really, and sort of seeing what's been good about it, what can we improve, and moving forward then to next year.
No, I think that level of just seeing the interaction, I think not just for you and for Movvle, but for the devs here, it was just nice to see that all the thinking that you'd done and all the hard work you put in to actually get in front of these users, whether it was approaching different sales channels, whether it was, almost rebuilding what we'd done to go, this needs to be mobile first, not desktop first. And that all that validation to then turn into real people getting value from this, being able to, I know, you put a lot of effort in recently to getting new offers on board. So being able to say, users can come on and get 10% off a new bed, going back to what we said before.
Yeah.
I think it's really encouraging and really validated your thinking.
Yeah, and actually that's been the other thing this last couple of weeks, adding new offers on. I've spoken directly to a number of people that sell the products and services I always imagine being on there, and the response has been brilliant. I've been really, really encouraged by it because I guess I was lucky I was talking to the right people who got the concept immediately. One is a large bed retailer, and they got the concept straight away. They'd already been thinking about ways they could target people moving house. So I didn't need to give them a big sell. There was no sales pitch from me. They just understood it. One of the others was a blinds company, which again, they understood straight away. Yeah, home movers, that's who we should be talking to. And really nice to sort of get that kind of feedback from people where you don't feel like you're giving them a big pitch. It was just I think this is in fact, what I think the guy at the blinds company actually said he must have bought his own first house a few months ago, and his initial thing was, this app sounds like a great idea, Paul, I wish I'd used it, which, he's got no reason to be overly gushing about something. I'm the one approaching him on a cold basis. So to get that kind of response was great, and we've got quite a few offers on the app now, some of which are exclusive to us, which, considering where we're at, I think is fantastic. Looking forward to obviously bringing more users on, looking at a few different channels to acquire those users over the next few months, and then just keep growing the offers and growing the client base, I think.
Yeah, because I was going to say, what's next? Is it, because it is just about scale now, because, you've proved the concept, obviously getting user feedback and being able to build that into future iterations of Movvle, adding new tasks so that if someone really a lot of people putting value into certain things, being able to add that in, and just basically trying to make that home moving process better. What do you see as the end goal for Movvle of where do you want to be?
I think it's probably just a more refined version of where we are now. I mean, I'm sure that my thinking will change as it's done many times, as I'm sure you find with all the startups that you work with. One of the ideas we originally had was obviously that the offers and tasks even would potentially change depending on the input of data at the start. At the moment, we're not asking for a huge amount other than just to sign up, but for example, do we change the offers based on someone's location or the type of house that they buy or some other information they supply? Do they have children? Do they have pets? There's a whole raft of ways that we could potentially change that to make that better for the users and better for the brands and retailers as well, because then they're targeting the right people, and the people that are using the app are getting offers and tasks and information that's relevant to them. So that's certainly somewhere where I'd love to be eventually. I don't think that's probably even a short to medium term goal. I do think that will take a bit longer to get to that point, because we also need I think a massive users on to get there. But I certainly think the next sort of 6 to 12 months, it's about getting more users on, getting their feedback, probably making smaller to medium tweaks to the app. And then also sort of building up the offers bank, the connection that we're getting with retailers and brands, obviously getting that out there. And as I say, just expanding the different channels we've got. At the moment, our main model is going through introducers. I'm sure that's going to continue. Probably a question mark over whether we do more of our own direct marketing to home movers as well. So lots of stuff probably up in the air, but this is probably, this is the best place we've ever been where we are right now with it. And we've got, new users coming on every day. We've got offers on there. I've got people that are keen to get involved. So 2022 is looking like it's going to be good.
No, I think it's really exciting. I think that idea of personalisation, of being able to capture, someone's moving with kids, being able to make sure that the list they get helps them in terms of saying, have you thought about, do you need to get childcare for the day that you're moving? Because something I think more than me, moving with kids can probably be quite stressful. I think my parents would probably agree.
Yeah, just a bit, yeah.
Do you need to get a dog sitter for the day? Or all these little things that can really try and take as much stress out of what is, I think, I can't remember the survey, is what moving house is one of in the top 3 most stressful things you'll ever do, because the lack of clarity and the lack of, the amount of things you have to manage at once. So anything that helps that, and that, I know we're so involved with you, but I think anything that helps that,
and trying to put the fun back into it as well. That's the other element that we always said is trying to put some of the, what people are usually interested in at the start when they're buying a house, they're interested in the next steps of their life, whatever that is, and one of the things we wanted to do is get people thinking early on. Right, I'm interested in getting a new bathroom. Actually, let's, dare I say, don't get dragged down with all the legal stuff that actually you can't control. So it goes into this big opaque kind of box, and everyone's worried chasing their conveyancing firms saying what's going on. And actually, you can't do a huge amount about that. But actually, what you can do is sort of think about the stuff and the reason why you're going through that, which can be stressful. But think about, what is the end goal? You're going to get in that house that you want. You're going to get the kitchen that you want. Going to get the kids into the school that you wanted to get them to, whatever that end goal is. We're having a really interesting conversation at the moment with a bathroom manufacturing business. Going straight to those guys, which, if we get that through, not only will it be a massive saving for Movvle users, they're also they're building an app where you can actually design your own bathroom on there. So that's exactly the kind of thing we want. People. So when they're getting annoyed that they can't get hold of their conveyancer, they can appease themselves by redesigning a bathroom instead.
Well, that's the thing. Like I say, moving house should be exciting and should be a really fun thing to do and something you're really proud of by the end. And I think so much stress gets put into the process that being able to take that out, being able to save a bit of money along the way, I think is why, we bought into the idea. And obviously, you've been a pleasure to work with, hence we're willing to do a second stage, of helping you develop that and really taking it out. So I think just to finish off, Paul, so if any businesses are out there or want to get in touch around potentially putting offers on Movvle or, having Movvle as a service they can offer, how can they get in touch with you?
They can drop me an email, which is paul.coombes, that's COOMBES, at Movvle, MOVVLE.com. Go to the website, movvle.com, have a look round, retailers, estate agents, solicitors, mortgage brokers, anyone that's involved in the moving process, happy to have a conversation about where you could fit in, hopefully help your clients, customers save some money and go away saying what a great service you've got. That's what we're looking to do for the introducer side. And for retailers, we're not charging people to go on, believe it or not. Everyone's been amazed at that. Everyone's looking for the catch. We're an early doors startup. What we want is people that are keen to work with us, that will give us feedback and put the best offers out there for home movers. So, please do get in touch if you're interested in working with us. And, also like to just say thanks to all the team at the Startup Factory. As I say, obviously known Ian for a long time and met the rest of the team, obviously including yourself, James, a good few years ago now. And hopefully we're going to go on to do something which will be a significant business. So thank you very much.
No, thank you very much for that. And obviously, again, thanks for coming to us. And obviously any users who want to potentially have some help with the home move, it's Movvle. It's on the Android store, Android Google Play Store. It's on the App Store. If you just search for Movvle, which is MOVVLE, you should be able to find us there. So again, thank you very much, Paul. Thanks for your time today and thanks for those kind words and good luck with everything in the future with Movvle and hopefully we'll continue to build a really successful business.
No worries. Thanks, James.
Right. Cheers, Paul. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
I think that just about wraps things up here. If you have any thoughts or questions on anything we said today, get in touch, whether that be through our Twitter @RealTSF or email at hello@startupfactory.tech, or feel free to drop in for a coffee and a chat. As ever, thanks for listening.